Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel for today's video. I want to do a part 2 to understanding supply and how it works, because there was a couple other things I wanted to suggest and talk about. So let's jump in. So as I said yesterday, the narcissist, they have to, when they meet you and they come into your life, they actually come into your life because they are here, or they're there to be with you, to become you. Meaning they are there to take all of your spiritual goods and your fruits of the spirit. They're there to take all of your power and all of your control away and to use them divisively for themselves. But not just to destroy people, but to keep themselves alive. Because when you have given up on your innate spirit and it's left you, you've given up on your inner voice and it's left you, and you have given up on the 9 fruits of the spirit: love, joy, peace, goodness, kindness, gentleness, faith, hope, long-suffering, and good self-control. When you lose love, you lose all of those. And because of that, your body needs those things to survive. Your cells were made by God. And the power of speech, it has life in it. Like when God spoke, he created with his speech. And he creates with his speech. And that's why in Revelation, it will talk about how when Christ comes, when he come back, that a sword would come out of his mouth. It would be to say that he creates with his words and he destroys with his words. He destroys the enemy, the foe. I say that because when you're an individual that is just evil, and you're so evil that everything good and godliness or innate from God has left you because you have been consumed with evil, and you have rejected everything good and become reprobate, which then is a form of blasphemy. I don't know if that's exactly what they've done, but I don't see anything else on this earth that compares at all to what a reprobate or a blasphemous spirit would be. But I would say they're synonymous. I think you would all agree, anybody that knows anything about the word. As much as we hate to use that word, I don't use that word loosely, but in the case of this, it seems that it has to be fitting. Because you have no cases all over the earth that have not one healed case of a narcissist. You have self-aware narcissists, but we talked about those yesterday. And they're aware, but there's nothing spiritual that happened to them. And to be honest with you, the way I broke down the pathology in a couple months back, if you don't have an innate spirit, you have basically given up on, and you don't have the ability for your brain to cultivate the fruits of the spirit anymore because they have been shut down, those pathways. That's why I say you're kind of turned into a hybrid now. You're almost not humanity, but a hybrid. And God in Genesis 6, when the fallen angels had interrelations with human women, and fallen angels are not demons. That's what the modern day church will tell you. That's not true. Fallen angels can appear as men. They do not have to embody a man or possess a man. They can do that as well, because it happened with the Prince of Tyre in the Old Testament. But it's not necessary. And when it comes to demons, though, they were hybrids from the copulations of human women and fallen angels interbreeding. And God hates hybrids. So that was my point. And so what a narcissist, if they shut down those love centers and those creativity centers and shut their innate spirit off, and it all left, and you're anatomically different now, and God doesn't like that. He has a problem with people and hybrid situations. That's why our genetic code is supposed to stay the way it is, and we shouldn't be messing with it. I mean, just like we mess with anything else, fruits and vegetables and the weather and everything, it's nothing man touches ends up good. But I wanted to talk about how, they have to become you, and they become you because, well, first, they're infatuated with you. The devil in them, there's always a twofold thing going on here. And that's why you get splitting when you're with the narcissist, because when you're with the narcissist, you're meant to think one way, and when you're with the narcissist, you feel like they could be good, but then they're evil. They could be telling the truth, but they're cheating, but I haven't caught them yet. Their words say something, their actions do another. There's a lot going on, and that causes splitting, and splitting causes second guessing. And second guessing, and first it starts with your intuition telling you to leave. But when that gets run over, and all the red flags get run over, and the intuition keeps telling you, but you may be taught not to hone it. Nevertheless, you're walking in folly from a generational curse, but then you wake up to it and you understand intuition a lot better, that the spell doesn't have an impact on it. Then you start second guessing, and from there it leads to rumination. And this is how that escalation goes. And then you wonder why you got rumination, and you got to burn that off for a year, but you got to burn it off with no contact, because when you let them back in, it like resets you. It's almost like you go back to zero again. But it does happen. It happened to me. Went back several times, and it's hard to just cut cold turkey on the first try. I think a lot of people that tell you they did, or even people that run their own channels, they're probably fibbing you. They usually get shorter because you understand what's going on, because you have this knowledge. But when they come to you, they're infatuated with you. That's how the narcissist feels. But they also know the demon's going to take over, and they're going to wreck it. And the thing that overtakes the narcissist is they are opposite of humanity now. And they have intertwined themselves with the demon. That's when you get to a point to where you're reprobate. It's not that you just sinned or something, or and even people that are demon possessed, they can get delivered. But the narcissist has gone down a pathway to where they've intertwined themselves with the demon. They actually like the evil, and they have teamed up with it. And this is where their problem is, and where they went wrong. And when you do that, and you lose your innate self, see, you are nobody. You're an empty slate. And for you to say anything about anything would be you telling a lie. And that's why the narcissist is nothing but a lie. Because they are nothing. So whatever they tell you they are, they're not. And the only thing they can do now, how about this? This is a double negative, but these go against each other, but the only thing they could do good now is evil. And that's the truth, because when you lose the fruits of the spirit, you're anatomically different, and you lose your innate self and your inside voice. There's nothing left. There's nothing left for you to give. There's no way to rebound or to turn that around. There's no room for repentance because you have no gift. It's kind of like the workers where the landowner left them with gifts, and the guy that buried his gift. The narcissist is the one that buried their gift. So they have to become you. They get infatuated to break you down into becoming you. They do this because they need personas, because they don't have one of their own. And they have to switch it up because people's fuel dries up. So when they come to you, you're full of fuel, they drain your fuel and they copy you. It's like Satan is the Antichrist, right? He's a copy. Everything evil is a copy. A GMO is a copy of the real food. And it's never as good. It's never authentic. Satan has an Antichrist, which is the copy, the opposite. It's usually the opposite. It's the opposite of Christ. Well, the narcissist is opposite of humanity, just like Satan is opposite of Christ. So they're anti-human. They're anti-life. And they're anti-love. So anti-love is to say that they like hate and adrenaline. So they traded the love for adrenaline. And they need a persona to go out there and live with. They need these cells to be fed with something. So they cannot generate the 9 fruits of the Spirit. And they have no inner voice. And whatever inner voice, if they haven't, where their innate spirit used to be, and this is the other problem, where I hate to say it, but I think what happened was where their innate spirit dwelt, that vacuum became filled with a demon, and I don't know how you would deliver the innate spirit part of them either. And if you would they just drop? And not be breathing. And that could happen too. And I have heard deliverance pastors talk about certain situations to where it would the person would cease to exist if you were to try to even bother with certain people, or you'd never get them out because they're so intertwined with it. They have to become you. So the devil also wants to take you down. You were targeted. So it's a twofold thing. You were targeted to be taken down. And the narcissist is addicted to human supply via the demon. But they're intertwined the same. So what they do is they admire you and they teach you how to treat them. When the love bomb phase, they put you on a pedestal and you do the same thing back to them. They pamper you and you pamper them right back. You can never tell them no, and they never tell you no, but they're teaching you this. And it's a form of worship. So it's like they're worshiping you and you're worshiping them. We're getting to a spiritual level now. Idolization or idealization is what it's meant, but it really sounds like an idolization as well. You can kind of look at it however you want. But what they're doing is they put you on this bed, but then they drop you down to, I call it Death Valley. So you go from the highest place you ever sat and you feel the greatest you ever felt. You almost feel whole for once if you never felt whole. But then shortly thereafter, you get dropped all the way down to Death Valley, the lowest place you ever been. You're anxious and you're depressed and you're shaken and you're paranoid, all kind of stuff. Because what happened? They flip fuel with you on discard. And you're in complete ego. And they took all of your fruits. And see, they can't generate them. So this is their major problem, because they lost their 9 fruits of the spirit generator and their innate spirit and inside voice generator. So a generator is something that creates fuel. So if you have 2 generators, a generator creates good fuel and bad fuel, which our generator does. We could be good or evil. Well, there's the good generator has ceased to exist, but they still need these things. But because they have gotten so evil, they were forced to leave. Like there's a certain point in time where if you are so evil and you continue down that road and you intertwine yourself with it, anything good has to leave. It has to come out. Sunlight and darkness cannot be together. Heaven and hell cannot be within the same area. That's why heaven is way above and where hell is way down below, y'all. And we are completely opposite, and we're so unequally yoked that the kingdoms, even when we pass from here, are so separated that they're completely different. One is dark and they have no fuel. And one is bright light and it has all the fuel in the whole galaxy, everywhere and anywhere. And so when you're a child of the light, darkness comes to put you out, and they send a narcissist. And the narcissist houses demons. And then you've been targeted. They have to make the narcissist, especially the ones that are unaware that they're possessed, feel in the psychological, sense that they have to have them gaslit, because a lot of times the narcissist doesn't even know they're possessed, at least half the time. So what they do, that's why there's a twofold thing. There's the demon doing what it's getting and what it wants, but it's got to convince the narcissist that anything that would come back to the demon is somehow your fault or something else. So they have abandonment issues. That's why they can't love you, and they can detach from you, but they can't love you. So they can leave you, but they got to come back because they have abandonment issues. So they can never leave you forever. And the demon has wanted that. So that's how they planted it in them, because they want to keep coming back to destroy you. Because if an army comes to fight another army and it's relentless and it never gives up, then it will eventually annihilate them. And so that's what the demon wants the narcissist to do, is continually come back around and bust you up again and again and again until your mind, will, and emotions, which is your soul, okay, they become so weak that you are just this fragile, hollow piece of meat that looks just like the narcissist with nothing left to give. And you'll be rendered no good. I mean, the Lord can't even use you if you have nothing and you don't have faith or hope anymore, or nothing. And so this is what the narcissist does. But you have to do it with consent. My point is, when They become you, meaning they admire you and then they start to nitpick at you and degrade you, devalue you. But you still keep treating them the same way. You still keep worshiping them and pampering them and building them up. Anything they want, never telling them no. You see, but they quit all that. So they taught you how to do it, and then they quit it. And they move on to the next target because you're out of fuel. But they're wearing your fuel. They're actually wearing all of your good traits. So the good traits to them, admiration, adoration, fawning, and all that, that's the good stuff. That's you admiring them. They like that because it does validate to them that their acting is good out here, that they don't have to second guess that. So when people admire them, then it's saying, because they're always a fake and a lie, but they don't know how well they're performing. So when they get that, it gives them the thumbs up that they're doing well. It's kind of like if you put a video out and you get 300 thumbs up and you normally get, 50 or 100 or something, then that video was better, because you got validated from people giving you thumbs up. And if you could hit the thumbs up, y'all. But that's the truth. And so they need it for that, but they also need it because if they don't look like humanity, if they just came out with their evil self and no mask on, nobody would talk to them. Nobody'd want them. Nobody would give them the time of day because they're evil to the core. So they have to strip all of those fruits from you and wear them. And when they go get a new target, like if they see a new source of supply that they want to take down, they may have to have like maybe 2 sources in the background that they're devaluing. Because it's like they have to spend all this fuel on this new form of supply, all this admiring and stuff. It takes fuel to do that a lot. And they don't ever give. The only thing they can give you is money and intercourse. And so for them to give fuel like that, they have to have an extra person in the background they're devaluing because they need it and then they got to give it. But they're not even giving it from them. So they're not giving you anything from them. They're just taking this guy's fuel or this woman's fuel and giving it to you or wearing it for you and giving you all these respects and things in the early love bomb. So they're burning all that first person's fuel off on you, giving it to you because they don't do that. But then they have to have like another person in the background because they got to wear it too when they leave you and go to work and stuff. So it takes a lot. That's why they say the narcissist puts in all their energy and fuel in the beginning, but they reap the harvest in the end when they destroy you and they take all that negative fuel from you and they stalk you and watch you cry. And they really like the negative fuel and the adrenaline it gives them. And so they're opposite humanity. So if we love, then they hate and they like adrenaline. But the other fuel, the love, admiration, adoration, all that, that's worship fuel. So they like it because it's a form of worship for them because they do feel like a god. So when you're admiring them and adoring them and fawning them and pampering them, it's worship. And this is what you're consenting to, maybe unbeknownst to you. It's a strong word, but this is all, take it from a spiritual sense because you have demons in there. And this is what they have convinced the narcissist of, and this is what happens. So you're worshiping, and it's a form of worship. Now, generally with humanity, it wouldn't be the case, but when it comes to the narcissist, it is. It's under the spell, y'all. And they get addicted to human supply. And that's what the demon does to them, to keep them moving. So in the spirit realm, the demon wants the adrenaline and the worship. And the narcissist does too because they're intertwined. But what they do to the narcissist in the physical form is they get them addicted to the chase of human. They're a human crack fiend. So they're constantly running around taking down people, becoming them in short, so they can take somebody else down. But your fuel wears off from them and they have to go get somebody else's. So that's why they have 3 forms of supply in the mix, because they'll drain this one where that one's fuel, become them. And then when that fuel's gone, they'll come back to you and they'll wear your fuel. And then when that one's gone, they'll have one down here, and they'll wear that fuel on their mask. And they'll rotate these three, and as one falls out, another one pops in. Or they'll have that fourth one in while the third one's going out. And so this is how it works. And that way, when they discard you, they become you. They start to act like you. And if they had addictions, like say if they were an alcoholic or something, drug addict, they will stop all of that. They will have the ability to stop all of that. And they will clean it up and look like you. And they will play that act all the way out. And they'll tell everybody, the smear campaign is to blame everything they did to you onto you. So now they project to everybody that you were the abuser and you were abusing them the same ways that they were abusing you. You see? And this is how they get over on it. And a lot of times if they tell you what they're doing, maybe in passing, they will tell you stuff like, that, like when you accuse them of cheating, you're like, yeah, I was cheating. I was screwing, your best friend or something like that. And you won't take that for real. But that may, in fact, be the real. Or that they'll tell you that they're a straight bullshit artist. I've heard mine say that. And there's different things they will tell you. And they tell you this because if you hear it and they've commented it to you and you haven't run away, then you're consenting to understanding that that's happening. It's called some kind of karmic law that the cult and the Illuminati uses. So there is some truth to the effects of that. But really what you're dealing with is an empty portal for evil. And, you wonder when they're going to reap what they sow. But it's hard for an empty portal to reap what it's sown when it's already damned. And that's why I feel like that they have their evil generator, right? They lost their good generator. So they have to wear this stuff. So they have to go out and seek it out. And the best form to draw off is better than having to draw off, all these items from 10 different people if they can get it from one-stop shop. That's why they like this super unawoke empath type black sheep who's unawoke, because they can suck it all off of that one person. They're lazy, man. So then they can just go out and have flings because they have you rooted down. So they have this evil generator. It's always generating evil. So they have to purge that. But they also like to purge it on and watch it destroy people. So that's why they project onto you. And that's why they will mirror. They mirror to you what they're doing. That's another one, how they tell you the truth. But they project onto you. They get you to apologize when it's not your fault, to accept things, to have no boundaries, and to apologize and to consent to things and to reactive abuse. And that's how they switch this evil energy with you. And that's where you walk around housing this evil energy that you have to get rid of. And so they purge it onto you. And then you're wondering why you're reaping so hard and so bad, negative. Because you in all actuality look like them and are acting like them to some degree. And it causes negative things to happen in your life, but it's all out of consent while they're walking around with your blessed fuel and they're taking down new forms of supply with it. Meanwhile, they're smearing you with it, with your own energy. And because they're wearing your fuel, it's really believable because your fuel is trustworthy. It's authentic. It's real. It's truthful. And it was probably at the time naive, and it was almost virgin fuel, high grade fuel. It's high grade fuel. And so this is what I wanted to talk to you about. So pain in you is what when we feel the greatest love, that's them being sadistic, malignant, destroying you and Machiavellian to you. That's somebody who, when they beat you down to the ground and stomp you out and you're crying and wishing for them and hoping for them and all these things that you're doing for them. I even say at some point praying for them is too much. I mean, how you can pray for your enemies, but I mean, at some point you got to let it go. lay it down at the cross, right? But this is kind of what happens. And you wonder why they're fake a lot, or they lie all the time, and they cheat and they lie all the time and they're fake all the time. Because they lost their innate self, y'all. They can't help it. There's nothing else they can do. They have to wear a mask. They have to be fake. And unless God comes back, takes that mask off, gives them their innateness back, goes ahead and single-handedly puts their intuition back into them, gives them 9 fruits of the Spirit again, and opens that brain back up. Meanwhile, they hate him. How is that going to happen? It can't. God doesn't go against his own rules. God put laws into the foundations of this world for you, for me, and he even abides by his own. He can do whatever he wants, yes, but I don't think he's going to break his own rules for your narcissist. Anyway, I love y'all, and if you give me a like, subscription, and a thumbs up, I'm just passionate. I'm not upset. I love y'all till next time. Stand tall, soldier up. Peace out. Love y'all.